Hey, Mr. Garage here. I am going to be doing today a long-term review of the Neato Botvac series of vacuum cleaners. All right, so we bought a D5. This was in May of 2017, and just a quick overview. It lasted 2 years, 7 months, so we'll just get that out of the way. So that's before it had a catastrophic failure. Luckily, I bought an extended warranty, which I never do, never recommend, but I bought it on this because I was like, okay, this thing's going to get the crap beat out of it in our house, and it's going to run a lot. And I'm glad I bought that warranty because it did have to get replaced. And I ended up getting, you can kind of see it behind me, my D7, which has had a failure in 1 month. But I'll be getting to that in a little bit. We're going to go through a fix. So it's had a side belt failure already. My old one had several. But, all right, so 2 years, 7 months of ownership, and we'll kind of go through the numbers on this. So over the 2 years and 7 months, I did about 32 filters. Okay, that's a lot of filters, but worth it because that thing sucked up a ton of long-haired German Shepherd hair, long-haired cat hair. I have 3 kids, which are dirtier than both the animals, and they make messes, and the vacuum really was a workhorse. So now, looking at those workhorse numbers, I'm like, all right, that's a lot of filters, a lot of brushes, that's a lot of expense, all right? And we also had 1 battery failure, so I'm looking through notes because I can't remember all this crap. So the battery only failed 1 time. It actually failed, let's cover that. Battery, where is it? Okay, August 30th, 2019. So had 1 battery failure way late in life. So it didn't actually fail. It started to reduce its runtime before the vacuum kind of catastrophically crapped out. So on that, my total cost of ownership outside the purchase of the vacuum, all right, was $366.29. That was over 2 years, 7 months. So if we look at those numbers or kind of overall, it cost me $11.18 per month in maintenance parts and just to maintain the vacuum itself. That's with belts, brushes, filters, everything. That's a pretty good, I don't know, I think that's a pretty good number considering how much work that thing did. So it ran every other day, about 2,000 square feet. Again, we beat the crap out of it. It works. It cleaned the house. It cleans our hardwood floors, our tiles, keeps all the cat hair, dog hair, kid crap. It keeps it all off the floor. If we add in the price of the vacuum, it really cost us about $37.31 per month. That's what it averaged over 2 years, 7 months. So from what we paid for it. And that's a good number as well. You know what? For all the hours that we gain back in our lives by having a vacuum do the work for us, having it pick up all the crap off the floor, having my floors always clean, not having crap on my floors, I tell you, it has been one of the best purchases I've ever made for that because we're just not spending time cleaning floors. The vacuum's doing it for us. And then maybe once a month we'll use a shop vac and we do a deep clean in all the corners and crevices that the Neato can't get to. So overall, yeah, I would say the Botvac was well worth it. Again, a lot of failures. Neato has a couple little issues. So that I think that they need to address. One is the side brush belt is garbage. It always has been. It was with the D5, D3, D6, all of them. And D7 that I have now, the side brush belt is a garbage design. It's the belt is just, it doesn't last. It burns up, they break, and then you have to repair it. A lot of people would have to send that vacuum back in for repair. And that's a lot of time where you don't have your vacuum. And it's a very easy fix. And again, we'll cover this in the D7 that I've got back there. So it's not that big of a deal. Another issue that I had quite a bit that I've only had once already on the D7, so I know it's going to be an issue with my D7 as it was with the D5, but we had the LiDAR motor get stuck. And the symptom of that is you're not doing the mapping or anything like that, or you're just telling the vacuum to start on the stock and the vacuum will pull out, and then it just stops, and then suddenly it beeps and it'll go back to its docking station. And that's the symptom of the LiDAR motor getting stuck. So the little LiDAR dish inside isn't spinning, and I'll cover that when we do the repair, but you can see this little, let's see, cool, got it. Right there, that little round dome, underneath that's a spinny LiDAR motor. You can pop that dome off, and to get it unstuck, I just basically would rock it back and forth several times, and then finally it would free itself, and then boom, it would take off running. So LiDAR motor gets stuck, side brush belt craps out quite a bit. Again, 4 times in 2 years, 7 months, that's just way too many failures They need to redesign that part. Either put double belts on it or put a tooth belt on it. Fix it, Neato. It's garbage. Yeah, so that's going to be it right now. I think for the long-term review, I don't have to cover anything else. Buy the warranty. If you buy a Neato, buy an extended warranty, and if it craps out, get it replaced, and then buy another warranty. But again, I'm very pleased overall with my ownership, but Neato can do better. I think that'll be it for now. I'm going to now do the repair on the belt. We'll video that. I'll show you how to take your Neato apart, which is really simple, and that'll be it. I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, so here we go. This is how we're going to tear down our Neato. Bear with me. I'm going to try to do this in one shot. Yeah, let's see what happens. So, we have our Botvac, and first thing we need to do, we'll take our filter assembly out. My Botvac is still on, so it's going to beep. And we're going to hold down our power button until the power button turns off. Come on, there she goes. All right. We are going to first take off our front movable bumper assembly, but now you do this by kind of pulling on the sides of it and releasing it from its kind of locks. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do, but we got to get this front bumper cover off in order to, there we go, to take the robot apart. So there we go. We have our bumper cover off. Now we have 2 Torx bit screws here. You'll need to get a special tool. It's a real thin shaft, long T10 Torx bit. You can get these on Amazon. The brand of this is Tonsky, T-O-N-S-I-K-on, or S-I-K-I, Tonsiki, whatever. But they're a real good hardened bit. They're actually tool steel. They're very nice. Got these on Amazon. So we're going to start off by taking these 2 bits out while we got the top open. I have to stand up for this. Oh, and these are magnetic too, so that makes life even better. So there we go. Got our 2 screws out. Now we're going to go ahead and flip this beast over. Now, if you haven't ever changed a brush, this is actually the way you change a brush. So you take off your little side piece, which is just magnetic. It just kind of sticks in here. And we'll pop out our brush, little side brush, which is the culprit why we're taking it apart. But then to take the brush itself out, we just stick our fingers back in these 2 holes by the wheels, like that. You can see it, and pop. That's it. Brush assembly. Lift out by the right-hand side. Pull this out. Lovely. Got a piece of paper in there. All right. The only thing you maintain on the brush itself that most people don't know about is you will get a lot of, see if you can see it. Come on, there it is. Yeah. So you get a lot of hair and other buildup from little girls and wives and your own hair, dog hair, cat hair, whatever. It gets built up inside this little bushing. So you got a bronze bushing here. You actually have to pry that apart, pull it really hard, and then you can get to all the wound up hair and junk that's in there. So that's just a quick tip on how to fix a side brush. Or not side brush, main brush. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove our battery pack. So we're going to switch to a Phillips number 2 bit and take these 2 screws out. That takes the lid off. Here is our battery pack. We take it, and there's a little flat Molex plug with a tab on it. So you have to push on the top of this tab. And you can see the little Molex plug. Hopefully the camera's focusing, but we just push on that tab, pull the battery pack out. Put that over here in a safe spot. And, okay. Switch back over to our Torx bit. Now we got a number of Torx bits or number of Torx screws to take out. So we got 1 here. We got 1 here. So we have 2 in these holes. We have another 2 in the holes here and here. Okay, makes 4. We have 2 more here. So that screw, and we have 2 more up here. So I believe that's 10 total screws. And they are all out. All right, we're gonna flip this guy carefully back over. Now, we've got these two tabs. I don't know if you can see them. There's a tab here and a tab here. And if I got all the screws out that I'm supposed to get out, hopefully I did, we're going to push on these two tabs with our thumbs. There we go. And the lid pops off. That's it. So that opens the top of the motor, or the robot. And cool. So this is what you have inside a D7. This is your spinny LiDAR dish. That's the belt for the LiDAR, the orange thing. And actually it has some hair in it. That's the motor that turns the LiDAR dish, that spins it. And this is a motor that sometimes gets stuck. So it just kind of locks. I don't know if a piece of dirt or whatever gets in there, but it kind of seizes and it won't spin. So again, to unlock the LiDAR dish, just manually spin it back a few times. I did have one occasion where I had to take the lid off and work the motor because the belt didn't have enough grip on the motor to get the motor free. Anyways, that's how you fix that. So our offending side brush motor is right here. And this is where the belt is on the underside of this. So these are the steps we're going to take to get this apart. Hopefully you can see this okay. All right, we have one T10 Torx right here. Gonna go ahead and take that out. And we're gonna take off these power plugs. So we got a power plug here. We have a plug here. And then we have this front plug assembly. Okay? So this is our little harness that we take and we peel back. Now we have the robot's really springy at this point, by the way, since there's no weight on it. The springs are actually very well engineered to let the robot sit level under weight. But when you take the weight off of it, boom, pops up. So it's a little springy. It's kind of annoying, but workable. Okay, so we have a ribbon cable right here. Now, if you've never taken a ribbon cable out, you're going to have to Google it, but it's pretty simple. You have this little black locking tab, and you kind of lift both sides of it up. And when you lift that up, then it releases the cable. So now we can pull our little ribbon cable back. Now, the reason why we took the screw out of the circuit board here is we have a little lock tab, and you see how that released the board? This is the main board, one of the brains of this little operation. So we pop that out, and now we have 1, 2, 3 Torx screws for this motor. Let's see if you can see them down in there. You got one here, you have one here, and then you have one here. So we're going to take those out. We're going to take off our little button assembly. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out. Don't know where it went. I'll get that in a minute. Pull the other one, and we're going to pull the last one out. Where is it here? Okay. Now we're going to lift our little motor kind of straight up. We'll get our wires aside. And there it is. So this is our little brush, or our little side brush motor. Now you notice how floppy this belt is? This thing is already stretched out. It's already worn. I can see some rubber shreds there. So whatever caught it caused it not to run, and it just shredded this belt. Again, this belt is garbage. The side brush design is garbage the way it engages. They just need to do something better here. I'm going to pause the video real quick because I'm going to get a few little tools or just get some paper towel and stuff, and I'm going to show you the next step of what we're going to want to do to this and what we're going to do to repair this. So I'll stop the video and then I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So got the stuff that I need. And I've got a little brush assembly here, so we're going to clean off and kind of knock out some of the rubber shavings that from that belt being kind of destroyed. Clean all that off. Now, the dry belt assembly, or what actually spins your brush, just sits in there. You can see a little gunk built up. I don't know what grease they use in this. I can't really tell, but I don't think I like it. I don't think it's very good grease for this application. It's kind of thick. And I understand they're trying to get life out of that. It might be like a silicone-based grease or something. But anyways, what I found works really, really well on the old D5 when I finally figured all this out of how to get this thing to last a long time is I use a white lithium grease on this. And it's low viscosity, so it spins really easy. It keeps stress off that little belt. And so what I do is I'm just going to wipe all the old grease off Get this nice and clean. I've already taken kind of a couple Q-tips inside this just a second ago. Made sure that this is all clean on the inside. And then we will go ahead and re-grease with a little bit of white lithium. You don't want to use a lot of this because it's just going to end up attracting dirt. Now let's get kind of this cleaned up here. We'll just put a little bit of white lithium on the shaft. That's about way more than enough. And then as we put our little belt spindle on, we're going to spin it. Put this down. Feels nice and loose, so that's good. Now for the belt, I had good luck with this brand. This is 3D Jungle. They're, I can't even pronounce it, Wana In O-ring drive belts. These O-rings seem to last longer, way longer than the factory belts and longer than anything else. So seem to be a good O-ring assembly, which is supposed to be a belt, but it's an O-ring. So we're gonna just kind of slip that on, and there's our belt assembly. Nice and tight. It's got good contact with the motor, spins the motor really easily. And now we're gonna dive into it and we're gonna do the reverse assembly. So that's all the repair. That's the only piece of repair that we had. So we're gonna go ahead and put this guy back down where it belongs. We're gonna get our ribbon cable and our cables kind of out of the way. We're gonna slip our motor back down where it goes. Come on, there we go. All right, it's in. And just to hold it there, we're gonna put 2 of the screws back in. Oh, come on. Thread the needle, man, thread the needle. There we go. Okay, use a clutch when you're doing this. You don't want to strip out any of the screws. I did remember I did not recover the screw that I lost to the void, and not sure where that went. So let's figure out where that little screw went. Oh, I guess I did recover it. Didn't even know it. Okay, looks like it's good. So you can get our ribbon cable kind of out of the way. Just kind of pull it aside. These are kind of fragile. This one's been kinked and bent already from the factory, but just be careful with the ribbon cables. And one thing I recommend too, if you're doing any kind of tech work, if you don't remember where parts go, take a lot of pictures. Like this little circuit board, it takes a second to figure out, but it's got this big hole in it in the side of the circuit board, and that goes over this large rivet assembly on the side brush. So we kind of put that back down in there like that. I'm going to take our T10 Torx. Probably best if I stand up for some of these operations. Lovely. This one's beating me up. Okay, cool. Got that one. Go ahead and put this guy in. Okay, motor's in place. Now we're going to make sure all the wires are routed properly. So we don't want to pinch anything. So a lot of this little bundle here gets routed kind of on the side of the motor assembly, like so. I'm going to make sure nothing's pinched and that this little push button for the bumper doesn't get pinched. And we're going to set this guy back down in its hole. We got our little lock there. It just locked. And I got to lift it back up because I didn't want that there. There. Okay. It's annoying when this thing is springing constantly. One thing that helps a little bit to keep the springiness away, put a weight in there, like the old battery pack, and that'll help keep it from doing the buck and bronco thing. So put our screw back for our circuit board. We're going to take our side button, we're going to put it back in its home. It just sits there like so. We're going to take our ribbon cable, and we're going to make sure the little tabs are lifted up. We're going to slip, probably can't see any of this because I'm not paying attention to what's going on the camera screen. We're going to take our little ribbon cable. Come on, ribbon cable, do your thing, whatever ribbon cables do. Go when you're home. Oh, come on, stay up. You got to keep that tab up when you put the ribbon cable back in, because once you push down on it, then you push the lock back down like that, and that secures the ribbon cable where it's supposed to go. Okay, so that looks good. Ribbon cable's kind of out of the way doing its thing. Now we have our big harness, which snakes down the side of the robot, kind of in this little channel along the side. And as you can see, we don't want it up here where the wheels are, because then it's gonna kind of pinch between the chassis. And so we got to get it down in there, and you can use a tool or whatever you got to kind of push the wires down inside. Because if you make it so there's a gap in the chassis, it's going to fill all the electronics and the inside and the LiDAR and all that stuff with dirt, and you don't want to fill it up with dirt. It is a vacuum, it's made to get dirty, but you don't want dirty where parts move. So here we go. So we're going to put our cables back on. We have one cable, two cables, and we got enough length here, 3 cables. And we are back in business. So that's everything we need to do electrically. All parts are together. We're going to take our battery pack back out, and we're going to reverse assemble. So I'm going to start off with my lid. Kind of snap it down. We'll make sure we don't have any gaps or anything weird going on with the vac. Gaps look good. And we're going to start putting our screws back on, or back in. Okay, we're going to take our battery pack, and we're going to take our Molex connector, our flat Molex. We're going to put that right down in where it goes. Lock that in place. Put our battery back in. Oh, where'd my battery cover go? Here we are. You push the screws up when you put this on, so push those up in kind of the pogo up position. Put that down. Change bits over to Phillips bit. Cool. Flip it over again. Robot automatically turns on when you get battery put back in it, so there's that. We're gonna go ahead and slide our bumper back on. Kind of the same process we did before. We just kind of gotta muscle it to get it over and on to where it's supposed to go. There we go. Now you can hear each side button push. So you make sure you can hear all the clicks. That means that's good. Gonna throw on our filter and our cover assembly. It's alive. It's alive. Sweet. All right, brush assembly. Put this in. Now this into the brush. I don't know. Can you see it? No, can't really see it, can you? All right. So this into the brush assembly. It doesn't go, well, it goes like that. A lot of times people get it in by mistake upside down. Make sure it sits nice and flush, these two little orange pieces. Make sure that sits nice and flush. When you put this back on, it's really, really easy to get this kind of cocked up or not perfectly on, and then you end up grinding the plastic, kind of like that grind spot, because, yeah, it looks like I did the same thing. So you put this on, lock it into these front tabs, push down, and lock it in place. Okay? Take your little spinny side brush. Spinny side brush goes there. That's what repaired. I can actually feel the motor in there, grabbing the belt now. That's good. We're all set. So the only last thing that I do usually is take Q-tips. I clean the little, you've got these little sensors, these little lenses. There's two here, and then you have two on this side. So you got to get those cleaned out, make sure those stay clean. And that's pretty much it. That is the side brush repair and kind of general overview and long-term review of owning a Neato product. I'll come back showing the brush spinning and maybe finish up with any final notes if I think of any. Thank you for watching. Okay, our Botvac Eva is back at her docking station. There is the little spinny side brush. Let's power her up and let's see what happens. Ooh, she's happy. And of course, we can't see the spinny side brush. Turn some lights on in here. Ah, there it goes. Sweet, we're back in business. That's what we're going for. Side brush spinning. I'm back. All I have to say to kind of wrap this whole thing up, Botvacs are awesome. They give you a ton of your life back. So all those hours spent cleaning and doing the little things, if you have kids, dogs, cats, you know, whatever, parrots, things that leave messes all over the floor, they do a ton of work. They are kind of like a helping hand. They're your little silent maid. Well, not too silent, but they run around, they clean up all these messes, they do their thing, and they are a workhorse. Now, 2 years and 7 months of life on my D5, regardless, it did die. That is a lot of work cleaning every other day. We were replacing upright vacuums every single year. They were just getting the crap beat out of them as well. They just didn't last. Something would finally fail on them. We had one that actually had a fire blowing out the side of it when the motor failed. That was actually sweet. We took it outside and let it finish off its fiery death. Anyways, so Botvacs, I do recommend them, even though they do require maintenance. You got wear and tear parts on them, brushes, that kind of thing, filters. You do have to occasionally get into the internals and fix them. They're not hard to fix. You don't need to go a month with it in service or whatever, or throw it away the second a side brush fails or a part fails, because you can get in, fix it yourself. It's easy. So I hope this video helped you. Subscribe if you like the kind of work that I do. I have a little mini electronics lab here. I do a lot of really weird things in my life, so that's why all that junk's back there. And I also have a full shop where we run the power tools and the big stuff, so I'm kind of versatile. I can be a geek and I can actually wrench too. So I'll be doing a lot of videos, kind of both things. Everything that I do, I'm like, you know what, my channel is going to be just completely random. So I do so many little odd projects that why not video? Why not help people out? So again, if it helped you out, subscribe, and you guys have a happy new year, and I hope your Botvacs keep running perfectly.